Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon and we're going to talk about Vice Media. Yeah, Vice Media is in big trouble. According to the information, they put this story up about an hour ago. Vice Media is making a cost-cutting push as it eyes sale options. Vice Media is for sale. Vice Media is a huge failure. An absolute disaster. I mean, this is a media company that cost Disney almost $500 million. They thought they could get by floating on venture capital, using venture capital, that the venture capital was not going to run out, and now we're facing an apocalyptic scenario for Silicon Valley, that lots of companies are going to get vaporized. According to Insider, Silicon Valley companies are in serious trouble. A lot of tech companies are going to be laying people off. Vice Media, while it is a media company, it is also a tech company. And again, the purpose of a lot of these media companies that popped up seemingly overnight was to use venture capital for 5 or 8 years and then cash out. Find a sucker to buy the company, and everybody was going to cash out, and then it became somebody else's problem. And as we're seeing now, these companies are not sustainable. BuzzFeed and Vox and Huffington Post and all of these millennial media companies that started up in the last 10, 15 years came in strong, did a lot of damage to a lot of people and made a big splash, and now they're all fizzling out, all about the same time too, because all the money is running out. And Vice thought they would get a reprieve. They thought they were going to use a SPAC like BuzzFeed did, and that they were going to get all kinds of investors lining up to give them another infusion of venture capital. It didn't happen. So now they're going to get sold, and they're going to get sold probably for next to nothing. Several of these companies have gotten sold for next to nothing over the last couple of years, including Huffington Post and Geo Media Group bought what was left of Gawker. And it's a disaster. Let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 268,000, almost 269,000 subs. Thank you so much for the support. Your support is appreciated because we don't have access to venture capital. So thank you very much for watching our videos and buying our merch and giving us super chats and super thanks and all that stuff. It means a lot. It lets us continue to bring you exciting content like this, right? Real exciting. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the information. I do read them pretty much every day. They have a pretty good, idea of what's going on in Silicon Valley and what's going on in media, and they tend to get the information before anybody else. And Vice Media is going to start cutting. They're going to start cutting. Vice is looking to cut costs and have brought in a consultancy, Alex Partners, in recent weeks to help them review its business as it explores a sale of its studio arm or the entire company, according to people familiar with the situation. So they're getting an appraisal, basically. How much is this company actually worth? The New York-based media company is slowing down hiring and cutting other costs to attain positive cash flow and generate $25 million in earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. This year, the people said Vice is projecting revenue to rise to over $700 million in 2022, but they need to make $25 million in earnings, up from around $680 million last year. Its studio arm, which is one of the assets it's potentially looking to offload, makes up nearly a third of that revenue. Yeah, Vice has like a TV network or something. It does like documentaries and stuff. I don't care. Vice's cost cutting comes as all media companies are seeing a decline in advertising revenue amidst market uncertainty. Last week, Snap warned its second quarter revenue and profits would fall short due to deterioration in the economy. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the twilight of the tech gods. Vice, which operates as a news division, a digital business that includes Refinery 29 and the Virtue ad agency, has a unique challenge in that it has been under pressure from investors, including private equity company TPG, to repay $1.1 billion in debt. Last month, Vice hired bankers from Liontree and PGT Partners to explore a sale of its studio business. Since then, Vice CEO Nancy Dubach has told executives the media company received interest in the division, according to one of the people. but for how much? So this consultant has worked on advising companies like Macy's and Nordstrom's and turning things around. Vice no longer retains the consultancy, another person familiar with the situation said. Dubik, who took over Vice 4 years ago, has focused on stabilizing the business and reducing costs in an effort to make the company profitable. This company is not profitable. BuzzFeed is not profitable. None of them are really profitable. They basically just push money around to make it look like, oh yeah, hey, this is hot new news organization. Yeah, you want to buy this, don't you, Disney? You want to buy this, don't you, Comcast? And it's all sham. And Disney knows it's a sham. They lost $500 million on these losers. Anyway, Vice tried to go public via a merger with a special purpose acquisition company, a SPAC. But the market cooled before Vice was able to complete a deal. Yeah, BuzzFeed's worthless. BuzzFeed tried it, and it's worthless. A sale of its studio business, which includes Pulse Films, producer of Gangs of London, would help the company pay down its debt, but would also remove one of the company's biggest revenue sources. I think they're going to force whoever wants the studio is going to have to take the blogs with it, and they'll probably just shut them down or something, or whittle them down to nothing. Vice is difficult to compare to publicly traded media firms given its range of businesses. BuzzFeed and movie studio Lionsgate trade at an enterprise value of roughly 1.5 times revenue. That suggests Vice could be worth at least $1 billion if it can reach its revenue target for the year. By comparison, Vice was valued at $5.7 billion in 2017 after an investment from TPG. Yeah, all these companies peaked in 2017, 2018, and it's been downhill ever since then. And a lot of them were banking on Trump outrage, political outrage. And, once people wised up to that, and once people started tuning out, and, we had a change in the White House, it definitely damaged these companies. So that is the unintentional side effect of this. Like, okay, cool. You got the orange man out of the White House, but now you have nothing to talk about, and everybody stopped reading you. And here we are. Now you're for sale. While studios have seen a flurry of mergers and acquisitions in the past several months, Vice may not have an easy time selling its studio business now that streaming services are dialing back spending in the face of slowing subscriber growth. Netflix told employees to cut costs and then laid off workers following a sharp decline in subscriber growth, while Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav has said the company will be mindful of its spending. Yeah, so this brings us to this insider article. Lots of companies are going to get vaporized. The tech titans of Silicon Valley are in serious trouble, and they're going to take the rest of the stock market down with them. We are looking at, the dot-com bubble 2.0. And I remember that. I was actually working in tech at the time. I was a web developer when that happened. Man, the money was really good back then. If you were young and you knew how to code in the late 90s, early 2000s, damn, the money was good. It was so good. And then it just stopped. It ended. Almost overnight. So this is coming from Lynette Lopez on Insider. We're about to witness a culling of heroes. Talking about the tech geniuses, the Elon Musks and all that. Now these vaunted tech geniuses are watching their empires crumble in the face of changing economic winds. Interest rates are rising from historic lows, and it's become clear that a wide array of tech companies, from the most lionized to the most ridiculous, like Vice, cannot survive without easy money. Silicon Valley's inability to weather this inevitable shift is both a disappointment and a wonder. We've seen a tech bubble expand and pop before, bridging the end of the 90s and the start of the 2000s, but what makes this time so different is the sheer scale of destruction this will leave in its wake. This is so all the stuff we talk about on this channel, all these media outlets and journos and all that, so many of them are honestly going to be out of work. And I'm not, delighting in that. People think we're like, yes, go get broke. Go. Some of them are legitimately malicious people. Some of them, I think they farm outrage because they have to bring in the clicks to make money. It's kind of like bussing tables where you get your base salary, or your base pay, and it's only a couple bucks an hour and you have to make the rest of it up in tips. That's a lot of these news outlets. They give you a base pay And then if you want more, you have to bring more views. You know, some people just get off on the power trip, but I think we're going to see a lot of people unemployed. A lot of the people that we, have called out on this channel, I think are going to be unemployed. And that's just kind of the reality of the situation, because a lot of the publications they work for are bankrolled by venture capital, and it's in ad revenue and it's running out. She goes on to talk about how the past 2 decades the market has rewarded growth over stability, and the tech gods have played that to their best advantage. That's actually true. Again, it was all an illusion. It was all borrowed money that needed to be paid back. I know there are some, at least in comics, there were some companies that popped up almost overnight, and they got sold off since then, but they were basically bankrolled by venture capital, and they would, they were Silicon Valley startups, and they had, millions and millions of dollars to kick around, and they would spend that money stupidly, get people in there, pay them ridiculous salaries, and basically it was like you can live high on the hog for about 5 or 6 years until your investors come knocking and ask for a return on their investment. And then what would happen is a lot of these companies would go get another round of venture capital, rinse and repeat, and that's what happened. None of this was really sustainable. A lot of it was a shell game. They would move money around and make it look like things were profitable, or at least sustainable, and they're not. And that's, look at Vice. They bring in how much? 650, 700 and some million dollars a year, and they'd be lucky to make 25 million in profit. I'm saying, like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But a lot of these outlets are spending ridiculous amounts of money advertising on platforms like Facebook, which are also going to get pinched. So I think you're going to see a lot of these outlets disappear, and we're going to have a lot of independent, smaller blogs and YouTubers and that sort of thing, newsletters. They're going to pop up to replace outlets like Vice, like BuzzFeed, like Vox, like Kotaku, all these websites that have been, I believe, anti-consumer and anti-fan, for years now. They're going to replace them. People are going to go to more trusted voices. They might not be the biggest voices, but they're going to listen to people that aren't on the take of these tech companies. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Now he's just tasty, delicious, rotten flesh meat, which I can consume. Don't read into it too much.
Just like our museum, the cafe's open and Brewster is eager to serve. I don't think this was in the show. Run. Oh, you got splatted. No. Oh, she was begging and you kicked her in the face.
I don't care.
Hey guys, Squid King here, and today we're in a...
Not girl boss at all. She is not a material girl.
She is not. Oh, it's Christmas time here in your mom. Nobody wants to join your mom.
What?
Like, I can't even cook kid cuisine right. I would last about 2 minutes with Gordon Ramsay.
What? Where is he?
He's hiding. He's hiding from you.
He better.
Oh my God, you got the axe.
Walker, does this look like Steven Universe? Let me punch him. Well, I'm just here for the wax. Right where you belong.
Get in the dirt.
Well, that was a combination of events I probably shouldn't have put together. Anyways, let's open this bottle too.
Chica Pinata. Is that official?
Oh, no.
There's a bootleg.
Hello. I'm sorry.
Hey guys, it's Diamond Tool.
Let's make a farm.
Like and subscribe and buy my merch.
I mean, while you're here, you guys should really like and subscribe and buy our merch, all of which we have.
That is true. You can't run them carrying trash. You can get away with one F-bomb per PG-13 movie.
I wish I'd known that sooner.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap this effer up.
Yes.